We can start anytime. Yeah.
This here's my question about practice. I wonder if when a person picks a thing, like say you choose, like, okay, I'm gonna count my breath, but it's kind of awful and trying.
So you choose your breath and it's awful.
You're like, this is the way I'm gonna do it. When I sit, I'm gonna count my breaths.
Yeah.
But it's not great, right? For me, when I sit and I count my breaths.
It's not great for anybody.
It's not great for anybody.
I can guarantee that. Well, there might be somebody who's kind of came into this life with a lot of stability, so it feels like, wow, yay, but pretty much not. So, go ahead.
But there's other ways, there's other things, because I know there's so many things you can do when you're sitting there that feel easier.
Like?
Well, like, I don't know what any of the things are called, or if any of the things really are things, but like, I know, like, the thing where and I know it's an actual practice, but I don't do it the way that it's done as an actual practice, but where you like, think of things that you want for a person, and you wish the things, like, for yourself, and then you wish the things for that person, and then for that person you, like, have your whole brain be doing, like, that feels, for me, that feels actually fairly easy. Like, that feels easy to do for fairly easy to do for 20 minutes. Or a thing that's not quite as easy as that, but is much easier than counting my breath, is a thing that I sometimes do that's just, like, trying to just be, like, a sense organ, like, trying to just, like, hear things without it, like, without turning them into sentences, just trying to just be my senses.
Yeah.
That feels easier.
Yeah, feel your body on the cushion, feel the breeze, feel notice the sound.
Yeah. I don't know if I should do the hard, like, is there, what?
You should be miserable. This is the goal of the Buddha.
Feels like that.
Put yourself up real
We should do. Honestly, the Buddha wants us to suffer more. No, I'm teasing because, I know you a little bit. It's a great question that you're asking, and it brings up, there's all kinds of different meditations, hundreds of them, and with different lineages, and there's many lineages in Buddhism, more certain ones get emphasized. So, trying to think of how to get a grip on this because my mind's going. So we need two things. We need to develop two things to become happy, contented beings with our minds. Stability. So we can put our mind where we want it, not where, our habits just take us all the time. So we need the stability, and we need clarity. We need to get this vividness of whatever we're focusing on. So I came into Buddhism, luckily for my busy mind, more like the second thing you described. Analytical meditations on certain positive aspects of mind, like metta, loving kindness. That's that one you're saying. You say you feel good because you say, oh, I want them to be happy. I want myself to be happy. I wish they had that. I wish everybody, all the Syrian refugees could find a home today. Really wishing that from your heart. So that deepens. You start feeling it. It's not just thought. It's like, oh. And if that's a good beginning place for you to do it, then the way the shamatha comes in there, the calm abiding, when you get that heartful feeling, rest there. Drop the story about the Syrian refugee. Just rest there. No thought about it. It's just an experience, and you're resting in it. Now, fairly quickly, the analytical mind will start up again. Well, just pick another group to send that to, or choose an enemy, or choose the people. I've just been working on this thought. There are people in the world who think I'm their enemy. That scares me. I've often meditated on, I'll include my enemy. But now I'm going, there are people who would like to kill me because I'm an American white middle-class woman. Just because of that. It's not about me. I don't take it personally. But, if they could get a hold of me, they would say, you're an enemy, and if I kill you, my life will be better. So kind of sitting with them, which I haven't much been able to do. But, mostly I want to run away. But, so you can get into the stabilizing meditation based on positive thoughts. I say positive, and I'm doing this with a little quote, because eventually, as you deepen shamatha, you start seeing it, those are all made-up stories too. What's positive, what's negative. So an example of that can be, how many of you have had positive experiences come from suffering? I mean, has anybody? Like you suffered and you learned, you suffered and then shifted. Lots of people. So we called it suffering, but from the beginning it had the seeds of the goodness. And we call things goodness. I wish people happiness. Well, what do we even know would lead to happiness? Buddha, when we get our full awakened mind, when we get in touch, we'll know. But right now we're pretty confused. Like, I really want my friend to get that boyfriend. She likes him, and I mean, God, I'm probably wishing tons of suffering on her without knowing. So better, my one teacher says, is just don't get so tangled in wishing for people things in the worldly concerns. I hope they get that job. I hope they get, the lottery. Because we have no idea what that would do to them. But rather wish for them complete awakening. Wish for them calm. Wish for them peace. Yeah. Am I on question? So you can do it, but any way you want. Drop shoulds. Should I do this thing? No. You should not do anything. But what I would say, I think you've said before you're beginning, I would say try 3 to 5 minutes a day on the breath. 3 to 5 minutes. A lot of the books that talk about how to do it say get very precise for that 3 to 5 minutes, then drop the precision and relax. So you could alternate it and then go to your loving kindness, which is one of the 4 immeasurables, that metta, loving kindness. And sit there for a while, shamatha, that good feeling. Come back, sharpen up on the breath. Because we don't really know how to do this. Yeah. We are so scattered. So everything I've read or heard from any teacher in 21 years is it will feel like you're really sick at the beginning. Like, oh my God, I thought I was a smart person who was kind and whatever. And what's the thing Lama Michael say? Oh yeah, we see our confusion when we try shamatha. Like, oh my God, I'm a waterfall, and each drop is a new thought, and a new sensation, and a new judgment, and a new want, and a new push away. And all of them say, good, good, you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're seeing, because mostly we run around like that, and that's normal to us. And the metaphor is at the beginning a waterfall, then a rushing stream, then it's a slowing down into a river, and then the ocean. Little waves on top, basically big stillness. Waves are still the ocean, and that becomes known. So, yeah, you have to, it's like a marathon thing. You gotta first walk around the blocks 10 times, then start jogging, and then you ache, and your muscles hurt, and but keep going. Yeah.
I had so much trouble with shamatha at the beginning. I was hopeless, and just keep trying it when you can. When you can. And then, lo and behold, someday I'm so surprised it actually worked. I can actually do it for a few minutes. It's it does come, but it takes a long time.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so important what you're pointing at there is expectations.
Don't
Always
expect it.
expectations get us in trouble. Gee, I've been sitting 21 years for X numbers. My God, I'm still an idiot. I said lovingly, and just laughing at it and going, yeah, well, if we adopt a Buddhist worldview, and you don't have to, you got to test it. But if we adopt it or play with it even, this mind stream's been going from beginningless time. Well, that's a long time to cultivate these habits. And why do I think in 21 short years I'm going to turn that corner? But I have turned many corners. And that's when you see the fruit of the practice. I'm calmer. It doesn't take me so long to climb out of the ditch. I see the ditches now. Oh, and can steer back, sooner. That's the fruits. Lama Michael has said, and he quotes the Dalai Lama about this, we should only check in on the fruits, like the outcomes, about every 6 months. The rest of the time, just practice. Don't go, ooh, that was good. Ooh, that was bad. Ooh, I'm not making progress. Ooh. Because we just ruin it. So do the practice, and then be the coach and come in and go, okay, I'm running a whole 2 miles without much problem here because I did it every day, But, yeah, we can get, our culture's very, very, let's measure it. Let's, yeah.
So I have ADHD, and so I always found counting my breaths was just awful. It was hard to do. And it just kind of went against where my mind was. And I think one of the most helpful things was the way Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it, and some of the Theravada teachers coming out of the Satipatthana Sutra, which is know when you're breathing in, know when you're breathing out. And so sometimes just saying the word in and out while you're breathing, simplifies stuff enough. That was always a lot easier for me, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the thing is we need to be doctors for our own minds. This is the trick of it. I mean, you can certainly, you come here and you've got all these nurses with you and other, physician assistants, but eventually you gotta, the real doctor's the Buddha, and then shows up as the teacher, and you can do one-on-one interviews to get some precise help. But we eventually, with this clarity and stability, we start seeing what's going on in there. And we go, like, I'll give you an example. 2 wings of the bird. I've been working the wing quite a bit of emptiness, of solidity, Zopa changing every moment, If I could jump in your heads and see who you think Zopa is, be no consistency whatsoever. It just wouldn't be. And so you can work on that wing for a while, and it can lead to kind of a, after a while. So you have to come back to this warm-hearted compassion, loving kindness, immeasurable compassion, and hook into, I really want happiness for myself and others. How can that happen? And these are the two wings, the compassion, loving kindness wing and the wisdom wing. What's really going on with reality. Birds can't fly with just one wing. You have to have both. And you become a doctor to your mind and you work back and forth, back and forth, Oh, I get lost in this and get lost in that. And so this brings in the three wisdoms, okay, that we talk about over and over and over, but we don't always remember them when we're alone, being our own doctor. So we must study, we must read books, and it would be helpful to do them in a certain lineage, not so much all over the place, at least until you know one lineage. Then it's real kind of fun to do compare, contrast, and all that. But read in the lineage. There's all kind of books there. And if you don't know which ones to start with, see one of us or talk with someone who's been here a long time. So study, then contemplate, think about it. How does this work in my life when I get angry? Where do I get angry? Oh, I always have to watch out ahead of time before I go over there, because this is going to rise. How does it rise? Oh, yeah, I see, I want that, and that's not going to be there. So, Zopa, don't go over there wanting that. Go over there to help instead. You see, you start working with your mind, seeing where you get stuck. Mm-hmm. I lost my train of thought there, but the two wings. So you just start working between them and back and forth. Study, contemplate, how did it work? I get in my car. I have so much irritation in my car now. It's way worse than it used to be. Because for 6 years I didn't drive a car much at all. I lived in the countryside. I drove a car maybe once a week for errands for the Abbey and saw 2 cars on the road. So you can imagine what boredom feels like. So I know I'm going to get irritated when I go in the car. I know that ahead of time. Be a doctor to my mind. I go, okay, what's my antidote? May you be well, may you be happy. May everybody get home safely. It doesn't matter if I get there on time, just need some little antidotes right there in the car. Mm-hmm. So contemplate in your own life, contemplate. Why don't I get to the cushion? What is it I'm doing that's so darn important that I can't train my mind, Mm-hmm. And if I trained my mind, would those things go better? So we study books, we contemplate, and then we sit and meditate and let the thoughts go. Let them go. Let them go. But at the beginning, really, the 3-minute rule was really helpful for me. Hone in for 3 minutes. Really precise on the breath or on the image of the Buddha, whatever it is, and then relax a little. Hone in, relax. Because if we try to keep doing that, we get this thing going, which is an additional problem, this stress, Anybody else? What's up? Yeah, Linda.
I feel like practice is so challenging for me, and if I'm looking for the fruits of practice in practice, it's pretty discouraging.
Yeah, thanks.
And where I encounter fruits that are encouraging are how different I am in my life. How much more easily I'm open-hearted to people, how much more my default position is to generosity rather than judgment, that sort of thing, which is in little, it's in little things that I can actually observe in myself. It's just been, if I were only looking at how's the practice going,
Yeah, and so for the people who are streaming who may be able to hear that, just a synopsis, we can measure more better by how our lives are going, how we are in our lives than in the session. And not measuring each session, even calling sessions good, bad, it's just so not helpful. It's just a session. I sat, good, I sat. Lama Tara really helped me in the one-year retreat, and I've told this before, but she just said, I went in, you know, with my crazy mind, especially when you're 9 hours a day in a little cabin alone. You just see how there's nothing else making you crazy but you. Nothing here. There's no TV, there's no computer, there's no advertising, there's no phones, there's no meetings, there's nothing, and I'm not happy. So other times you're very happy, but I went in and said, my mind is just so bad in these sessions, so bad, you know. And she just looked so lovingly, and she said, Zopa, did you sit? And I said, yeah. She said, so your body was still? I said, yeah, as still as I could make it. And you weren't talking, right? No. Nobody there to talk to. She said, good, now you got 2 out of 3. Body and your speech are at peace. We're just working on the mind. It's no big deal. You know? Good for you. And so I think we have to get that way. Good, I sat. I didn't want to. I had to drag myself to the cushion, but I sat. Good. No judgment about the content. Then, like Linda said, as you go about your life, you will see the peacefulness just start showing up. And not in a contrived way. We want to contrive it, but it shows up in a surprising way. I'll give an example that these tiny things, but they can astonish you. Very early in practice, I was thinking that was happening in my mind. That's, you know, it's just hard. And I was stepping off the bus, and there was a mommy behind me with a kid in a stroller. And without even thinking, I turned and just, not saying anything even, just helped bring the stroller down to the sidewalk. And I walked away thinking, wow, I did that with no thought whatsoever. There was nothing about, oh, this is embarrassing, or should I ask her? Nothing. It was just spontaneous. Someone right there needs help. You just help. She says, thanks, you go away. So I was like, I think that's one of those. I think that's one of those fruits of the practice that you don't expect. Yeah. Miriam.
I just want to point out something logically, and let me know if this is correct, but if I'm trying to evaluate my practice while I'm practicing, I'm probably not practicing.
Yeah, that's logical. Yeah. But you could also say it's just another thought.
It's another
going
thought,
by.
yeah.
And we can get really on it. But I don't know I think it's Tralak Rinpoche. When I came to Mahamudra, I was in the remedial class, and we all are, but I mean, I had done a lot of other kinds of practice, and so I was reading lots of books, how do you do it, and one of the things he said that was quite helpful, and I still use it sometimes, is, oh, that thought is so exciting and so enticing, you know, the one, like, I just really need to think about this, I just have to. And even if it's a negative one, like, I gotta figure this out. She said to me, I should, next time I'll say, and you see yourself doing this, and he said, when you see one of those, you say to it very directly, you know, you are very interesting, and I will think about you later. And you kind of physically think of putting it over, and I found it works. You know, I found that it works. And then, of course, later it's not very interesting. You can't even remember what it was. So, because that's the way our minds go. Mercy.
I've been finding that one of my biggest obstacles to actually just getting to the cushion is this kind of mind fatigue. So like I come home from work, where I've been practicing a good deal of mindfulness during the day.
Good.
But and then like often taking care of children, like it's not little kids, but I mean cooking dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like this old habit, and it used to not be this way so much, but now I just feel like this old habit of just wanting to I just want to check out. And so I've been watching a lot more Netflix at night and things like that, or in the morning I don't want to get up. Or if I get up, I just want to sit there and read the paper while I drink coffee. Like I just want to check out. And so there's times where I feel when I meditate that once I'm there, it feels like it just feels like the right thing to be doing, right? But other times, like what I'm describing it's like I can't bring that sense of relaxation into the practice.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like effort. And I just have this I don't like,
Yeah.
no, I just want to go into somebody else's little reality for a while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, what a waste of time, my precious human life. So
Is it a waste?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I feel like practice, yes, is more worthwhile, but it's like I don't know how to bring more
So you've been
relaxation.
practicing for about how long?
Probably 15 years.
15 years, okay. Take a break. I wouldn't say this to someone brand new. You've been practicing 15 years. Take a break. Take a whole week first or 2 weeks and say, I'm going to practice during the day while I do and you work at something very challenging, while I help everyone, and I'll practice while I make dinner. Those are all compassion practices. And then watch Netflix as much as you want. Go to bed. Sleep more.
I don't know.
It's okay.
It feels, I get very afraid because I feel like practice is dwindling away.
No, Dharma, you've got so much Dharma, you're carrying so much Dharma, it's not going to disappear. I did this recently. I went on a retreat, and the retreat was not to do anything. I didn't want, because I pushed myself pretty hard. And it was great. I took a big bag of potato chips. I ate as much as I wanted as soon as I got in the cabin. That was my first goal. And then I took novels with me, and I read as much as I wanted, and I slept a lot. One day I took 2 naps. I slept 8 hours and took 2 long naps. I went out walking. And that was when I could practice the most, just spontaneously, because I was in a beautiful forest. It was just spontaneous. And by the 3rd day, I was on my cushion happily. It was like, I see, this is where I want to be. The potato chips didn't do it. It was great fun. The novels, that's the point of the novel? Oh, God. Just like, oh, man, that didn't do it. So really, for those of us who've been going a long time, take a break. A Nyingma master told this to one person who went into her own solo one-year retreat, and he said, she'd been practicing a long time, and he said, for you, the first week or so, don't do anything you don't want to. Go with your wants. You need to stay in the retreat, but you sleep when you want, eat when you want, walk when you want. Don't put any schedule on. So it's a compassion practice for you. It is the Dharma. It's not away from the Dharma. And I see even that thought is kind of touching you. So just entertain it. You can't do what Zopa says. What do I know what you're your medicine cabinet, but it's a medicine in your cabinet because you've practiced so long. You might try this. Even just try it for 2 days with no judgment. That's the key. Don't judge yourself like, I'm not practicing. I need to do this. The Dharma will slip away. All those are fear-based. So that's not the Dharma. Okay? So get with some loving kindness for yourself. You work really hard, Marcy. Gosh, give yourself a break. Sometimes that's the best thing for us. It really helped me. I came back like really clear what I really like to do, not my false likes. I like to do those for, one bag of potato chips, and then my stomach doesn't feel too good, and digestion's kind of bad, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah.
I just wanted to add one thing, Marcy, just from your description. When I think about how Lama Michael encourages us, he says if you sit on your cushion for half an hour a day and then walk away and forget all your Dharma, you've still got 23 and a half hours of the day where you're not practicing, and so how much momentum will you actually get? And so the caring practices are so important. And when you talk about going to work and you're being with your family and taking care of your family, I think by your description you have a very strong caring practice.
Yeah.
So you're already way ahead of the game of most of us who maybe we're there every single day for our 25 minutes or whatever, and then we blank out the rest of the time. And so that's another way to sort of remind yourself that it's okay to take a break.
And it's not really a break. I'm realizing
no.
what you just said is helpful, Cynthia, because you're not taking a break. You're doing it. You could do your Dharma a little differently right now. Just say, I'm totally in Dharma, but I'm just doing some different things. Yeah.
I totally identify with what you're saying, except I don't have children. So I don't have to worry about that part. But even trying to get myself to do the 3 minutes, I'm finding my little inner self resisting just that, because it's like I have done so much throughout the day. All of my attention has been sucked in to what I'm doing throughout the day, that when I get home it's like I need to veg. And so I'm thanking you for both the suggestion to allow myself to do that sometimes, but also I'm trying to encourage myself to do the 3 minutes,
Good.
It's hard though, I have to admit.
Yeah. I really want people to hear that the advice I gave to Marcy has to do with someone who's done 15 years of serious practice.
Right.
And it's a little dangerous if you're newer to then take that as permission not to move. So again, the medicine cabinet's full of medicines, but we can't, certain ones we're not ready for. When I first started Dharma, I was like an incredibly busy lawyer, mother, political type person, and all I could do at the beginning, well, the retreats really helped. I went to many short retreats. That's what really turned the corner for me, because with a group, with the schedule, with the teacher, I could do things I could not even imagine having done. But I committed to make an altar, just a Buddha. You don't need anything big, but just a place in your house. This is a suggestion for whoever it works for. A Buddha, some flowers, maybe you put a piece of fruit on the altar each morning to get you there physically. Or you make some water offerings and you take them down. So then you'll go twice a day, put the water up, take the water down. That was all I did, plus the refuge prayer. And I didn't even sit, because I just was so, I was like, I am not adding one more blankety blank thing to my life. But I loved this Dharma. So I sat, I stood and I took refuge. Said, I want to, say the 4 immeasurables really quick. May everyone be happy, free of suffering, abide in equanimity and joy. May I help that happen? Then I went off. How long does that take? 2 minutes? Maybe 3 if I put fruit on. And then at the end of the day, stood in front of the altar again, took the fruit down. How did I do? A little better. Yeah, I didn't yell at that person and I didn't get bummed out by that. Oh, that I want to work on. Okay, I dedicate this all to everybody. Go to bed. It can be like that. And I think if we frame our shamatha more often with the refuge bodhicitta, like we do here, and with dedication at the end, then it powers it up. If we just sit down, we're kind of doing it for ourselves, and it's fine, but it doesn't power it up. We take refuge, in these beings who have realized the truth of reality, and that affects our minds, Or we just take refuge in, the Sangha right here. That also affects our minds. So just do that part each day. And shamatha as much as you can, do the carrying practices, and then be kind to yourself. Like, gosh, we're so not kind to ourselves, it's painful. Just be kind to yourself. You're just a suffering being trying to get through this ocean of samsara that just smacks us around so much. Of course, it's our own mind, but be kind as you train. We're just in training. And I think about the kind of coaches where I really excelled at things, and the kind of coaches where I got hurt by, I used to do gymnastics, and got hurt badly by the pushing type, You can do more, you can do, and you're really tired, and you try and burst a sac in your elbow or whatever. So, be that other kind of coach to yourself. Yeah.
I just want to add one thing, I guess. That one thing I've found helpful is if I miss my morning sit, I'm driving to work, I remember this prayer, and I don't know where it came from. It might have come from one of the retreats. But it was like an aspiration prayer, and it's so simple, and I find that it really helps going into my day. And it's just, may whatever worldly and spiritual, may all my worldly and spiritual activities bring me closer to the enlightenment for the sake of all beings, and lead me farther away from self-cherishing and self-clinging.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And it just kind of feels like then I have set my mind towards in a certain orientation for the day that still feels really valuable.
Yeah, and renewing that, in a break in the middle of the day, lunchtime, pray on your food and just reset. We have to reset many times during the day. And you don't have to get big about it and sit down at a cushion, and it can be a moment in the hallway. I used to stop before I went through this one door because I was executive director and things were really difficult, and I would just stop at the front door and may everything I think, say, or do in here today benefit beings. How long does that take? Not even 2 seconds. So we're resetting our own minds. Those are all carrying practices, and they're wonderful. Yeah, Linda.
Yeah, Lama Michael, the one that really helps me is the one breath shamatha.
Yeah.
You can do that anytime before you answer a question, before you answer the phone. Just one breath.
One breath.
Reset.
One breath. And these are all about building the habit. So there's a factor of mind that causes us to forget. Like you'll be here, you'll hear all this, and there's a mind factor that causes us to forget. So the only way to work with that one is see it just like we see everything else. Oh, I always forget all these good ideas. So that's in my mind, a forgetfulness factor. Wow, how useful has that been? So again, gently with it, I notice it. Pick one thing that you're going to work on. And you're going to work on remembering it, like Marcy's strive, you know. Then it becomes habit. Then you have to work on another problem, which is it becomes habit and it goes flat. And so then you've got to get another little prayer, or whatever, or bring it to life by picturing the Buddha on the hood of your car or something. And I do that one sometimes, or Tara. Like, oh, I gotta wake up here, Tara's right there. Okay, you know those little hood ornaments they used to have, mermaids or something back in the day. We were all too young, but you know, Tara's helping to drive the car. You just get playful. This is not to be, you know, a problem. This is the way out. We can have some joy in it. This is the way out of the suffering, and we found it. You found it. You found it, or you wouldn't be here. You found it. You already found it. Just that. Oh my God. Most people in this world do not find this. You have created the good karma to find this. You know, it's the jewel in the garbage. There's the story of the guys, you know, we could picture homeless or whatever, going through the garbage, and my God, a diamond. And too often we go, we always keep looking around. I didn't like that jewel. I want this red one, not the white one. You know, we have it. So now we just cherish it, practice it. And we support each other. Thank you.
By its virtue may I quickly realize Mahamudra and establish all beings without exception in this state.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you.
We'll see you in a while. 2 weeks, pretty much. So again, next week, David Thornburg, who's a senior student here and a wonderful leader of shamatha, will be here Sunday morning and evening to lead shamatha for whoever's not at the retreat. So please come. He's a wonderful presence to be there. There won't be Q&A.
Yeah, that was my.